This story is from the Shasta Indian Tales book. It's compiled by Rosemary Hossinger and illustrated by P.I. Peeman. The story is Coyote and the Grizzly Bears. And this story is acted out by Nayson, Tooya, Stuart, and read by Tiffany Stuart. So this is a story of Coyote and Grizzly Bears. Many people lived among each other, and Coyote lived among them. One day, Coyote said, "Let's go and drive game with fire." Very well, they said, so they went. Coyote went on ahead and fixed an arrow point secured by wrapping it to the shaft. Grizzly Bear came along and picked up Coyote's arrow. Grizzly Bear came along and picked up Coyote's arrow. Coyote took it and hit his hand with it. "This is not an arrow point," Grizzly Bear said. "You cannot shoot that with that." The people looked at Grizzly Bear. He was acting strange. They sat down. Lizard pulled an arrow out of his quiver. The lizard pulled an arrow out of his quiver. The arrow point was stuck on with pitch. "Give it to me," said Grizzly Bear. He stuck his hand with the arrow point. Then he threw away the arrow. They looked at him. Grizzly Bear waved his hand. "I guess that is blood," he said. Lizard saw that something was wrong. "Now let us go and hunt," he said. All went off except Coyote. All went off except Coyote. He hid and watched Grizzly Bear. The bear seemed to be very sick. The bear seemed to be very sick. Very sick. He was not himself. He dug at the ground. He was very angry. And he ran at the trees and bit them. Then he sat down. He waved his hands out and lay on his back. He said, and he died. Coyote ran up to him and saw that he had died. "Grizzly Bear is dead," he called out. All the people out driving deer with fire came back and gathered around where Grizzly Bear lay. All gathered around. "Tell us quickly what to do, Coyote." "Skin him without cutting his skin," said Lizard. Coyote started butchering Grizzly Bear. Coyote started butchering Grizzly Bear. Coyote started butchering Grizzly Bear. He left the claws on the hide. He left the teeth. "Which of you will taste it first?" said Coyote. "I want to taste first," said the Jay. He did so, then fell over dead. Next, Coyote divided the meat equally. He divided the meat equally around. And then they all went away. And then they all went away. In the evening, Coyote dressed the hide. Coyote dressed the hide. Next day, he danced. "Who will be the first to run up and down the line?" said Coyote. "I will be first," said Tiffany, the small yellow bird. The people were dancing, but Tiffany became afraid. He hid. The lizard put on the bear skin. And jumped in front of the dancers, and they looked at him to see if he felt stronger. I'll put on the bear's skin, he said. He went in front of the dancers and flew up in the air. That is good, everyone said. Next day, the grizzly bears came back. Your brother has gone back, said Coyote. There are his tracks. He pointed to the ground. But the 11 grizzly bears could not find them. In the evening, the people said, "Let us dance." So they danced. The grizzly bears sat there watching them. "Let us jump in front of the dancers," said all the bears. Then Lizard jumped out in front of the grizzly bears with the bear skin on. All the bears cried. All stopped dancing and went to sleep. All went to sleep. But the grizzly bears were angry. They ran about outside the house, dodging this way and that way. The people did not have weapons to kill them. Only Lizard did. "Tomorrow, I think we will fight with arrows," said the grizzly bears. Next day they fought. Only Lizard had the quivers. They killed Coyote first. They bit him to pieces. Many of them were killed too, and blood was everywhere. In the evening, all stopped fighting. Then the grizzly bears went away. They went away in all directions. 6 had been killed. Only 5 were left. Coyote was killed for good. The lizard and all the others went home to their own places. This is one story.